This review is presented by EVDANCE.
The acceleration is brutal.
I like it. I'm running away. I like it.
Time for the ZEEKR X, the smaller brother to the ZEEKR 001. Like that car, big and very spacious, smooth on the road, yeah, a little harsh maybe, but the quality feel in that one was great, and so is it in here. The design differs a bit, and the design from the outside differs as well. I didn't really like the Link & Co design look there on the ZEEKR 001. It was okay, it looks all right, but this one has a different type of touch. I like the headlights, I like the rear of the car, I like the side, and I like how the back doors are a bit sharp and upwards and a bit different in their dimension and design language. I just like it. So you can really see that they want to step up and look a bit different, and I think they really do. So from the outside, the door handles that fold in, the running daylights at the front, it looks like a crow's foot, the rather raised look of it, the neat side mirrors, this big panoramic roof up here, which I don't really like. I don't want to have panoramic roofs, but in this one, it just looks nice. It is mounted. You can't do anything with it. You can't fold it or anything like that. It's dimmed, and it makes it very light in here. I like the color. I'm not that much for gray, but in this one, it looks very elegant. The seats are soft. The steering wheel is just great to hold. It looks good. And the window buttons that just have great feel to them. Feels like they're copper in their touch. How you open the door, just push that button. You got a little knob which you can push down here, and you got a hook so you can put your bag there or something like that. Here's a little pocket which you can fold out. You got your USB-C outlets. This neat little cluster in front of you just gives you enough information, very delicate. And then you got this big screen here that doesn't cover any of your vision, and that is rather intuitive. It is a bit, you know, mushy with all its stuff. You got some shortcuts to turn off the speed warning, the warning of being tired, head-up display. Quickly adjust the side mirrors, and a lot easier in this one because on the steering wheel you got a knob or a little joystick. So it's much more responsive, and it feels a lot more easy to calibrate them with these ones. And the platform is the Scalable Experience Architecture platform, which for instance the smart #1 is also built on. I really enjoyed the rear-wheel driven EX30. I thought that one was great, compact and nice, but this is a little bigger, this car, and you can feel it when sitting in the back. Generous space back there. You can shove your feet underneath the front seats. The seats themselves are very nice, good armrest. You got your hook back there, which you can put your coat on or something else. USB-C outlets there as well, and just a cozy, nice environment. That feels good, looks good, and that offers rather much and has its own touch to it. But when it feels premium, when it has its own touch, well, then it just becomes pleasant in here. And I like the environment, who doesn't? So it's vegan, it's animal-free materials in here. But still, they feel very premium, very high-end. Here you can put your glasses or something, a little magnetic feel there to that. You got your camera if you want to take some pictures of you and your friends in the car, and some pockets all around. You can reassemble this cup holder here if you want to do that. You can take it away, and pretty much storage all around, I think. So generous in that way. You can fold this armrest up, but this is something that I've really got annoyed about. I love armrests in all their shapes and forms. It's just good, but I love to hold my steering wheel when I'm driving a bit more relaxed. But the elbow comes in this little type of hole here, so it feels very unpleasant. I must say that, very unpleasant. I don't know how they thought about that, and that no one has just felt like, I'm sitting like this, oh, this doesn't feel comfortable. And that hole, well, that is the induction charger. Very neat to put that down there, but no, it's not comfortable as this one is put down. And when you put it up, it's just in a very strange way when you move about. So they haven't really thought about that one. Apart from that, you sit very well. You get into a good driver's position. The steering wheel just you have a perfect grip to it. I love it. Open down here, you got some buttons and some commands for if you want to talk to the car, and if you want to see your board computer, what the temperature is in the car, what song or media, and on the buttons you can adjust the volume and some other things in there. So very good. Good feeling in the stalks, big, nice. Window wipers, you adjust them there, and then you wash your windows with a washer fluid by pushing the button. So very easy to get along with that. And of course very neat with the gear lever here. Push it for park, push it for drive, up in neutral, little step, and up in reverse. And when you drive along, you can set the cruise control if you push it twice, and the distance control if you want to activate that. Then you can get into lighting, and you can set your different lights in here. You got a LED ramp here. I set it to the music so it pulsates to the beats. That's rather cool. The ambience becomes rather cozy and nice. You know, a bit alive with these lights. There's also lights here in the side panel of the door. There's also a speaker in the front, which you can set some different tones when you start it, so it sounds like a tractor or a frog or a chicken or something like that. Very good 360 camera, so you can watch all around the car and from different angles. But this one, it's very customizable in many ways. It's just a bit of digging, even though it's very clearly displayed, all of this. Nice sharp typing to it all, and it just looks good. The charging, you can set the charging of how much you want it, full or from 50 up to 100. You can adjust the battery temperature when going in for a charge. The battery pack in this one is 69 kilowatt hours, and you can do quick charging, supercharging, and then you can take 150 kilowatts at a supercharger station. So there's two versions to choose between. There is a rear wheel driven version, so that gets a little better range, 446 kilometers. And this more powerful all-wheel drive Privilege version, well, it provides you with 428 horsepower and a range of 425 kilometers. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds. And I'm wondering if you need that much speed in a small city, urban, crossover SUV like this one, but we'll find out. And you can set the acceleration tone of it from slow to standard to sport. Regenerative braking, normal and high. Steering, comfort, standard, or sport. And you can turn some of the traction control off, but I don't think you can fully turn it off. I like the menu for the climate control, because you can just put your finger and set exactly how you want that air to be dispersed all around the cabin. Like that one. So pretty quick, even though you need to touch everything. Everything is collected in here. If you push it upwards, well, then you can get music. You can get some of the apps and widgets here. Notifications and stuff is displayed up here. Easy to connect your phone and all of that. So everything is a lot similar in the systems as in the ZEEKR 001. So nothing new there. But I like it because it's a bit more tiny. It's a bit more tight. And I like small cars, even though this is not that small, and it weighs almost 2 tons. So yeah, let's just see how it feels when we're driving a bit more actively and when just cruising. Let's get into acceleration, being a bit more dampened, a bit more calm, regenerative and normal, and then steering in comfort. And let's see how it feels. Well, you sit well in this car. Soft and plush seats, which at the same time caresses you and hugs you a little, so they feel sporty. And you might need that when you have that much power. I mean, 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, that is fast. Let's turn the traction control off as well. Here we are. Yep. So it slingshots you away, but it feels a little wobbly in the corners when you push it. You feel that you sit rather high, and it feels like the wheels, they struggle a little for grip there. Swings you away, and when you're on your move, you just fly away. And top speed is 180 kilometers an hour. Well, that is to restrict everything for not going too fast and not to drain the battery, of course. Let's see how the regenerative braking feels in high, max setting. It's okay. It's not that strong, but it's there to regenerate some more power into the battery. It bongs a lot. I've already unclicked everything, and there is something that it warns for every car that almost comes your way or in a corner or from another position or from a crossing street. But when just driving calmly, it is very quiet, of course. As in many electric cars, it is quiet. But I like this light steering. It's a bit numb. You don't get that much connection feel to the road, but it's rather rapid, so it's there. But it feels a little artificial. It feels a little electronic. But you buy cars like these for the comfort, for being easy to drive and just being smooth in every situation. The throttle, the braking, the steering, everything should just be comfort. You don't buy it because you want to drive your boots off. That's not what it's intended for. But the power is still there if you go for this all-wheel drive version with these 428 horsepower. I mean, it is fast, and I think it's a little too fast for what it needs to be. And it becomes a bit more calm when you have the acceleration in its lowest setting. But even when driving in sport, as in an electric way, it has a little delay when you push it. I think it's a little better than the ZEEKR 001, but yeah, it is a little better. But there is some delay still to it. I think that they've just installed that because it shouldn't be too hectic. But you want that instant feel when you drive an electric car, especially when you drive in sport. In the other settings, then it would just be okay. It would be a bit more slow. I would buy that. But when it's in sport, and it takes a little time. Now we get to some corners. Let's feel how it feels. It's a bit damp today. Brake. It's not that good feel in the corners. It isn't a sports car in any way. It feels like it's all calibrated to be a bit more to the comfort side, because comfort, that's what it really provides you with. It is really, really comfortable to drive. But as soon as you start to push it a bit in the corners, it feels a little worried, actually. Feel the brakes. It's not such a good feeling in the brakes. They are a bit mushy. They don't grab that fast, even though they got an updated braking system on this one, which is supposed to pull you from 100 kilometers an hour to a standstill in 34 meters. I mean, that is rather good. But now I got into the ZEEKR add menu here, and I think you can shut most of the stuff off here. So you just need to dig a bit, and then you can turn them off. That's good. And, yeps. Still warns a little. The acceleration is brutal out of the corners, which is fun. Pretty difficult to get the right feel when you drive a little quicker, because the steering is so light. Doesn't feel that it provides you with any more weight when you drive in sports setting. So you can have some fun, but you shouldn't push this car. You should just go for comfort drive with it. So if you need all-wheel drive for any reason, well, then you need to go for this one, and you get all these horsepower and all this acceleration. When you push on, you don't need to drive sporty, of course. And a little more range in the rear-wheel driven version. Well, it's like 20 kilometers more. That's not much, but I still think that the power is more in harmony with the whole car. You don't need over 400 horsepower in a car like this. Got a big head-up display, which can show you the way if you put it into the navigation and you want to have it displayed. The Yamaha sound system is just powerful and nice. Love that. Neat touch, looks elegant. Got some dotted holes all around. Got some dotted holes in the seats, which you can behold when you sit in the rear. And very quick to turn around. Smooth and smart city car in that way. And of course, nippy, more than nippy. I like the rear light of the car. You got 229 LEDs in them. Strong and characterful. And I think that is a matter of taste, of how you like how this car looks. I like it because I think it has some sort of ugliness over it, but at the same time, it's very bold in its statement of wanting to look a bit different. And I like that. 5 different colors to choose from on this all-wheel drive Privilege version. Crystal white is included, so that comes at no price. Then you got Palace beige for 20,000, pine green 15,000 Swedish crowns, and this one, the grid gray, 15,000 Swedish crowns, and 15,000 Swedish crowns for the Onyx black. So some colors to choose between. I like this color, it suits the car very well. 20-inch multi-spoke forged alloy wheels, which looks good on this car. And then this car is rather big in its profile, rather high, so you need rather big wheels to fill it up. Otherwise it would look a little ridiculous. In this one we have the interior upgrade. That means that we have recycled PU seat material, recycled brushed headliner, driver's seat ventilation, and then you also get this one up here to put your sunshades. And the color of the interior is charcoal black and stone gray. Pretty good mix. The B-pillar displays a little symbol of this ZEEKR head as it flirts with you when you open the car. Rather good if you just want to give it a glimpse from the outside. Price for the long-range rear-wheel driven version starts at 529,000 Swedish crowns, and the all-wheel driven version costs 579,000 Swedish crowns. So which one should you go for? Do you need the all-wheel drive? Do you need the power? I don't think so. I just think that it's enough with the rear-wheel driven car. It's more harmony over that one, enough power, you have enough fun in it, and it costs a little less. So I think you should go for that one. Just some small things that irritates me. This armrest, of course, all that beeps and bongs. That's just what it is. You can turn some of them off. Otherwise, it's a very quiet and peaceful ride. And I just love how it looks. I don't know why I've just fallen for it in that way. I think it's got some great cool city appeal about it. It looks good at night with all these colors inside, with the LEDs, how it pumps to the music. It's a fun car. So in this one, it works in more elegant, more good-looking cars that are beautiful in another way. Then I think that lights and all of this becomes a little ridiculous. But in this one, it fits it, it works. So I think they really balanced that one out with this one. This should be fun, but over the air in these cars are very good, and they listen to the customers for feedback, and then they imply that rather quickly. So that is good. The trunk space isn't much to brag about, 362 liters. Now that is not that much. You can put some stuff underneath the floor. It's rather raised, rather high. So you put your cables down there and some other stuff. And you got a little frunk. You can push in some cables there. It's good that there is a frunk compared to many others that don't have any at all. The pleasure of just sitting in it, cruising in it, and knowing that you get a great experience every time you look at the things, feel and touch. And when some jump in for a short ride, they might just wonder, what is this? Wow, it looks fun and inviting. Now that is a buying argument on its own. This key is a little special. It's very slippery, it's like a little soap. I like the small format of it. You can also move out of a tight parking spot or into a tight parking spot if you can't open the doors. What I also like is this free space down here. It's almost like you can walk over to the passenger side. So they really freed up space down here. Looks good and makes it a bit more room inside. Summing it all up, I like this car. I think you sit great in it. I like how quiet it is. I like how comfy it is. And I like the steering wheel. I like that there is acceleration in it, even though I think it is overpowered. And I think that the long range version with the rear wheel drive will just do the job perfect. It is intuitive, small symbols, a bit overwhelming in the beginning, but you get into it. And I also like that it stands out in the way it looks. To me, it looks good and it looks ugly at the same time, and I love that type of mix, that ugly beautifulness that you can find in some products. And I think this really nails it, and it feels well built. And this is the thing that makes many cars nowadays. They need to stand out in one way or the other. Sometimes they overwork it, and yeah, maybe they overwork it in some areas on this one as well. But to me, in this format, it works. I like this one.